Rowell was my best friend. He was perhaps the ultimate of family men. He loved his children. He loved me. He loved nothing more than spending time with us and taking care of our family, of our home. He was silly.
This is a bad idea.
He loved football in a way that, belies reason in some cases. He loved music. He collected headphones for different purposes to get the best out of any particular sound. And he and I, we loved to dance together in the kitchen. And while dinner was cooking, or we'd have family dance parties, we'd dance with our kids around the house. He was really somebody who just brought warmth and joy and light into this world. And I'm still in shock that he's not here. I still can't wrap my head around the fact that he didn't come home from the hospital. We lost Roe so early in the pandemic. He was the first person in our town to pass away, April 8th, 2020. He was in the hospital for less than a week. Typically, in a Jewish household, when somebody passes, the funeral occurs as quickly as possible. And following the funeral, Shiva begins, which is the period of mourning when the community comes and carries the family through the most devastating time and is there to remind the family of life and not to be caught entirely in death. And so food is brought and stories are told. The idea that a mourner should always be reminded that they're not alone. And we didn't have any of that because of the COVID restrictions, the generations of wisdom that created these rituals. This idea that, the social support helps. I couldn't take advantage of any of those. We were not allowed to have a funeral or funeral service. And then we had a drive-by Shiva where the kids and I stood in our front yard and people drove by. It was awful. To be in a place of such despair and not be able to go and get hugs. It was an incredibly lonely time. I think what made it particularly challenging was not just trying to parent through a pandemic, but parenting while grieving and parenting grieving children during a pandemic when all of the grief advice is social. Those supports just were not available to us. So the last 2 years have been a journey. It has been a season where I have learned to prioritize joy. The children and I focus with a lot of intentionality on appreciating that we can feel all the feelings. We have established family priorities that have helped keep us whole. We say we take care of our bodies, we take care of our minds and spirits, and we take care of our home. And we've worked hard to try to give ourselves grace and give each other grace and recognize it's a hard season of our life. We were dealt challenges many don't have to face, but we also rely very heavily and lean very heavily into gratitude. We are grateful that we had Roe for as long as we did, and that we had so many amazing memories of an incredible, loving, creative man in our lives. I have two amazing children that lit up Roe's face and truly have been such a blessing to me. I think Miles, I cling to his words when he said to me, he says, Mom, I think we're doing pretty good learning how to be a family of 3, considering we used to be a family of 4. It's different and it will always be different. But we would not be here without Roehl. He created this foundation for our family. If there's nothing else that I accomplished in this life, I know I had the great fortune to just be married to my best friend, to somebody who made this world so much better by virtue of being in it, and who I carry in my heart every day.